the overall goal of saving lives within Los Angeles County. We believe that what we do actually touches individuals to make their lives better. And each of the presenters will share with you how they go about making that happen. Our agenda today is as follows. Okay, our agenda includes a presentation on purposeful aging, which I will do. I will also talk about bringing our loved ones home. We'll talk about the Area Agency on Aging, Adult Protective Services, and then we'll talk about workforce and business services, human relations, and community and senior centers. So I will start, but before that, I'd just like to go around the room and just have everyone just tell us where you're from and what elected individual you represent. So we're going to start with you.
Okay, my name is Vanessa Carr. I'm with Assemblyman Rosarian's office. So that's CA 46. We're in the San Fernando Valley, Studio City, Hollywood, and the city Dagger. Thank you.
And you have to speak loud. Really shy. Anyway, okay, so I'm Donna Hill. I am from Senator Scott Wilkes' District 21, which is Santa Clarita all the way up to Victorville.
Hi, my name is Luis Menchor. I'm from the Assemblyman Miguel Santiago's office. We represent downtown LA, Koreatown, Boyle Heights, and Highland Park.
Hi, my name is Victoria Chevalier, and I represent Assemblymember Laura Friedman, and we're in the Glendale, Burbank, Hollywood, and Los Angeles areas.
Yes, good morning. My name is Vera Castillo, and I do the legislative work for our department here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Veronica Lopez. We represent Assemblywoman Blanca Rubio of the East San Gabriel Valley. So we represent 11 cities between El Monte and West Covina to the foothills of Glendora, Georgia.
Good morning, I'm Bridget Martico. I work in LA County. I work in the CEO's office, and I'm a legislative analyst and read on one of my accounts.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamila Jabalani. I'm representing Assemblywoman 8054, Assemblywoman Camp Ladder, sorry. But that area is west and south LA. It's also Culver City.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lily Gu. I'm working in this building of Reno's headquarters, and I'm with the Expenditure Management Division, the county department. And so it's regarding the invoice processing. Good morning.
My name is Nick Holden. I'm here with Supervisor Janice Hahn's office. I'm stepping in for the Roman Hacienda Heights field deputy, and also represent Diamond Bar in Harbor Heights.
Good morning, my name is Herman Castillo. I'm also with Supervisor Hahn's office. I work with her administrative team in downtown Los Angeles.
Good morning, I'm Neil Mercado, Employment Specialist with Asian Rehabilitation Service based in Whittier. We service LA County, but exclusively around the San Gabriel Valley location.
Good morning, Brenda Baker from State Senator Steve Bradford's office. And that's the 35th, covering so many of the cities in LA County between San Pedro and Inglewood.
Hi, I'm Jen Hardy, Office of Assemblymember Almer Suchi. He covers Palos Verdes Peninsula up to Manhattan Beach out to the 110.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mara Guevara, and I'm with Supervisor Marguerite Thomas. I'm the field deputy for Lenox in the South Bay. Del Air, Wiseburn, El Camino Village, Hawthorne, Inglewood. Those are the areas that I cover.
Good morning. My name is Shannon Lewis, and I'm a field deputy for Supervisor Sheila Kuehl. We cover from Atwater all the way out to Phoenix.
Good morning. My name is Joel Diaz. I'm the Public Information Officer for Workforce Development, Aging, and Community Services.
Okay, we're going to get started. It is a little warm here, so we're going to ask Rhonda, my secretary, if you could try to adjust the air, or also kind of adjust the air. Is everyone a little warm? Okay, we're going to try to get that corrected. So I'm going to share with you a couple of programs that we're doing under the umbrella of purposeful aging. About 2 years ago, Supervisor Horace Solis, who was the chair of the board at that time, and Mayor Garcetti came together and asked the county and the city to work together to develop a age-friendly community project. Under that project, we signed on with the World Health Organization to develop a plan for making Los Angeles region age-friendly. Some of you may know that within Los Angeles County, there are 2 area agencies on aging. And you'll have a little more specificity on what an area agency on aging is a little later. But let me just say, just preliminarily, that an area agency on aging is a service area that provides services to older adults who are 60 and older in the area of Meals on Wheels, congregate meal programs, case management, and a number of other programs. Los Angeles City has one of those area agencies, and Los Angeles County does. We are unique in that most counties only has one area agency on aging. Los Angeles County has the second largest area agency on aging in the nation. Los Angeles City is the third. The largest area agency on aging is New York City, but combined, the county and the city would be the largest in the universe. So we serve the largest number of older adults in the world. So it's really meaningful for us as we started this project 2 years ago, Purposeful Aging, to look at ways to make Los Angeles County more age-friendly. So what we did, and this is some of the information about the region as a whole and some of the stats. In Los Angeles County, only 10 states have an older adult population larger than Los Angeles County. Between 2010 and 2030, the older adult population in Los Angeles region is expected to double. Some of you may have read the news article a couple of weeks ago that said that the birth rate is at an all-time low. So that means that those of us who are living and living well will make up the larger percentage of the population, not the children. Life expectancy is increasing. We know that the average lifespan will be, or is right now, 81.5. And many of us know centurions that are living actively and living well. So there's a need for us to move forward. I guess I'm not doing this. Okay. So our vision is to make Los Angeles region the most age-friendly in the world. We are working with the World Health Organization. There are many cities and counties that are going through this process. We want to make sure that we have an infrastructure in place that can sustain and allow for older adults to grow well. We have a collaborative process that we're working through. As I said, we're already working with the city, but we're working with UCLA, USC, we're working with AARP to make sure that we touch as many older and younger adults as possible as we develop our plan. So what do we know already about older adults? We know that many of them are not our older population that were back in the 50s where after people retire at 60 or 65, they go to senior centers and they sit and they play bingo. Those are not what our older adults want to do. They want an active lifestyle, they want to stay healthy, they want to exercise, they want to live in environmentally safe communities. And that's what we are going to be looking at as we proceed through the Age-Friendly Initiative. Our process here, we'll each have copies, we have copies of our PowerPoint, so I won't go over everything that's in there. But I do want to make you aware that we want to make Los Angeles County an age-friendly place for all generations. As part of our research, we not only talked to and worked with older adults, but we talked with young adults. Because if we do a plan that's based for the older adults now, it won't be relevant in 10 years from now. So we reached out to young adults. We worked with folks from the YWCA. We also did a survey of all Los Angeles County and Los Angeles City employees. And there are a host of ages within that group. Los Angeles County has over 110,000 employees. And the city of Los Angeles has over 41,000 employees. And so we surveyed that group. We also went out to the community as a whole. We asked questions in different areas that may be of concern to individuals as they grow old, such as transportation, civic participation, respect and socialization, and then community outdoor spaces such as parks. We even have some information about Disneyland. What is it like for an older person to go to Disneyland? Are they, prohibited from participating because of the way that Disneyland is set up, or Knott's Farm, or any of those places? So we want to make sure that wherever an older adult goes, or where anyone goes, that they feel welcome. We've had a process using our steering committee. We've had some listening sessions sponsored by AARP. As I said, we've done the survey. We've had a task force of different cities. There are about 5 or 6 independent cities. Long Beach is one of them that have decided to become an age-friendly city. West LA has become an age-friendly city. And so they are working with us, all working with us with the goal of making Los Angeles region an age-friendly place. I talked about the survey. Hopefully some of you got information about the survey and passed it on to your constituency. We took the data we got from the survey, we sent it to our academic team. They have reviewed it. They have developed some issue papers that will be part of our report in each of the domains where the survey was on the surveys. And the report, along with the recommendations, will be coming out later this month, probably to the Board of Supervisors in early July. So what you will see from the slide, and I'll just skip through some of them, you'll see where some of the listening sessions were held. How many of you knew about the listening sessions that were sponsored by AARP? Because some of you had a role in participating in those and setting those up. So I want to thank you for making that happen. And that data too will be provided as part of the report. And so just to conclude with regards to purposeful aging, I just wanted to share with you that the report will be out later this month, going to the Board of Supervisors in early July. There will likely be some media tweets and media information. Joel will be working with us on that to get the information out and talk about some of the cross-cutting recommendations from that report. Being part of the World Health Organization, we have an obligation to not only do the plan, but do the implementation. And we are starting that implementation within the next couple of months. The next topic I wanted to share with you, under the umbrella of bringing purposeful aging, is bringing your loved ones home. About 2 years ago, there was a woman by the name of Nancy Lopez who has Alzheimer's, who was at the museum, the Natural History Museum, or the Museum of Art in Wilshire, with her husband. She went into the restroom, and she's never been seen again. Supervisor Hahn became very interested in this particular case because the Lopez lived in the 4th District. She, along with Supervisor Barger, asked our department to develop a protocol called Bringing Our Loved Ones Home that will allow us to address on a very quick basis those individuals who have wandered, not only with dementia and Alzheimer's, but also individuals with autism. So that could be any age. So for about 9 months, we worked together to develop a plan that was approved by the Board of Supervisors, I believe, in April. That will be launched in August of this year. The protocol calls for individuals that wish to participate to wear a bracelet so that they can easily be tracked by the sheriff. We're working very closely with the Sheriff's Department. They are equipping a helicopter with the tracking device so that individuals, once an individual has wandered off, a loved one can call us or the sheriff, and we can start tracking with the hope of bringing home that individual as soon as possible. There will be lots more information about the program as we launch it on August the 1st. So you'll be hearing more about that. One of the other things that we did during the process of planning for the recommendations for purposeful aging is to host 2 older adult summits. The first was held last April at the Cathedral with about 400 people. We had one in May, early May of this year, at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium or the Convention Center, and we had close to 1,000 individuals, older adults that were there, getting information about services that you will hear about today. We also took the time to share with them some of the preliminary recommendations that we had received through the survey that I talked about earlier, so that they could rank and prioritize some of those recommendations, so that when we go to the Board of Supervisors and we present our report to you, that we will have heard from the actual older adults as to what they believe the priority actions should be that we take. Dementia Friends, Los Angeles, USA, that is also a component of the purposeful aging. Dementia Friends is an opportunity through the Alzheimer's Association for individuals to learn how to assist individuals with dementia. I am pleased to say that each of the supervisors, all 5 of them, have become Dementia Friends. And through the Alzheimer's website, you can look at the video of not only the supervisors, but Mayor Garcetti, who has also become a dementia friend. And you can find out how individuals can become dementia friends within the community. So just go to the Alzheimer's of Greater Los Angeles website, and you'll be able to get that information. So we have accomplished a great deal in the last 2 years with purposeful aging. We are also doing what we don't have a slide for is the Age Mastery Program. We have been working with a number of community centers that will allow older adults to get some credible information about retirement planning, about health, about all kinds of services that would be available to them as an older adult. So you'll be seeing more and more of those. We've done about, how many have we done? We've done about 5?
Yes, 6 months.
Okay, we've done 5 or 6, and we intend to make that part of our overall plan as well. It's sponsored through the National Council on Aging. It's a national program. It's evidence-based program as well, because we know that the older adults feel more able to take care of their business. It also goes into creating a will or a trust. So I'm thinking about going to that, because I need to do all of that as well. So we are almost halfway through the overall process of purposeful aging. We will be presenting, as I said, to the Board of Supervisors in early July, the recommendation. We will then begin implementation. So how can you help us? Once we get approval by the supervisors, what we will do is we will reach out to all of you. We will make sure that you have a copy of the report and the recommendation. We will also ask you if you know individuals that would like to help us with the implementation of the recommendations in your particular areas, to have them contact us to be part of our community plan. Because it can't be just the administrators and it can't be just us working on it, those working already in the aging field. We need to get to the grassroots level, and we need individuals that are actually living in those areas to make sure that what we're doing is meeting their needs. So you will be helping us do that, and we're going to ask you also to help us get the word out about what we're doing as well. Now, as I said before, the details about the area agencies and aging will be shared with you later in the presentation, but right now we're going to have Solomon Chavisi from Area Agency and Aging, and he's going to tell you what the real AAA does. Okay? Solomon?
So again, my name is Solomon Chavisi. I am with the Area Agency on Aging. You heard already, this is the second largest area agency on aging in the nation. So in the next 10 minutes, I will be providing a brief presentation about the background and the type of programs, services we have, and maybe at the end I will give you the numbers for you to see how large we are. I know 10 minutes is not really enough to go into the details. So the good thing is you have a copy of the resource guide, and what I will be talking about is covered in the resource guide to give you a background. The area agency on aging exists because of the Older Americans Act. If I may ask, how many of you are familiar with the Older Americans Act? A few of you. Now, in 1965, the legislature had concern and a sense of responsibility for the welfare of older adults and the poor. So they came up with what's called Older Americans Act. The mission of Older Americans Act is actually to enable individuals, older adults, to live out their life with a maximum of independence and dignity in their own homes and in the community through a comprehensive and coordinated system of support services. So there has been several reauthorizations of this Older Americans Act. In 1973, it created the Area Agency on Aging. And it also created the National Aging Network. So at the federal level, we have the Administration for Community Living that provides administration of the funds and the programs. We have also state units, and at the local level, we have the area agencies on aging. Any estimate how many agencies we have in the nation? We have 629. 33 of them are in California. You already heard from Cynthia Vance that 2 of them are located in Los Angeles County. And ours is one of them, the other is for the city of St. Louis. So what you see there is also the stakeholders, advocacy groups, the legislature, the consumers, and the community-based service providers. So our mandate is to plan, develop, coordinate, and provide the services that the older adult population needs. In terms of funding, we get much of our funding from the older adults, from Older Americans Act, as you see on the slide. We receive up to 90% of our funding for this fiscal year. The target population is again the individuals age 60 and older. Actually, the scope has expanded to include disabled individuals. And priority is given to those who have greatest economic need and greatest social need. And Cynthia already covered the profile of aging. I don't have the time to go into the details. But our services are located throughout the county, and we provide all these services to contracted service providers. The services are free, regardless of income. The important thing is the age requirement to be eligible. I'm not going to go into the details because in the resource book, you have all the details about the eligibility. There are few exceptions where eligibility starts from 55. You'll get it there. Okay, now to the programs and services. One of the prominent core services is nutrition program. We have congregate meals and home delivered meals. We have about 100 congregate meal sites throughout the county and over 120 delivery routes to deliver home delivered meals. An important thing with congregate meals is the opportunity it gives to the clients to socialize. You know, isolation has been very dangerous, very difficult for older adults to manage, leads to depression and shorter life. So daytime congregate meal sites has a very good opportunity to interact, socialize, and share their concerns and thoughts. We also have a nutrition education program helping older individuals to make the right choices, healthy eating, and also nutrition about obesity reduction. Another important program is the Family Caregiver Program. It's a national program, and researchers tell us that 1 out of 6 Americans are care providers. Probably here, some of you are caregivers. So you would understand how much stressing and difficult aspect could provide care. Could be overwhelming, stressing in terms of financially, emotionally, physically. So without these support services, caregivers will find it really difficult to manage the task. And so we provide services, such as information services, access assistance, if they need translation, interpretation, when they try to access services, they will be assisted, support services, respite care, temporary relief of caregiver responsibilities, and supplemental services. There are 2 groups. One of them is caregivers to the elderly. The other is grandparents or relatives providing care to the children. So these 2 groups are assisted with this program. Next one is linkage. We call it linkage. This is particularly to those who are at the risk of being institutionalized. So the care managers provide intake processing, they do detailed in-home assessment, and they prepare care plans in consultation with the clients. They assist them, they follow through to make sure they are assisted and remaining in their house. Supportive services, another program providing support in-home social services, such as case management, homemaker, personal care, or services in information assistance. Disease prevention and health promotion program is to assist those older adults that have chronic disease, managing their disease, and by providing self-management programs, Arthritis Foundation Exercise program, and fall prevention techniques and education, as well as training. health insurance counseling advocacy program. You all understand how complex the healthcare system could be, particularly for the elderly. So we have this program to assist them, providing counseling, representing them in legal cases, and providing education. Long-term care reimbursement, this is directed to those who are currently in institutions, long-term care facilities. Who knows what happens there? Quality of service may go wrong, they may have complaints. So we have a service provider who receives complaints, investigates, and provides assistance. We have a legal assistance program. Again, older adults face various types of legal issues related with caregiving, housing. They face legal issues. And so our legal service provider will work with them one-on-one and provide consultation, sometimes if necessary, represent them in legal matters. Okay, now I know my time is running up, but to give you a sense of the size of our services, in fiscal year 16-17, we provided services to about 98,500 clients, and 32,500 received engagements. 5,450 received home delivered meals. Over 4,000 clients received the supportive services. And 1,500 clients received caregiver support services. Over 1,000 clients received nutrition counseling. Again, over 1,000 clients received the linkage. And these are the grandparents received services there, about 200 things. Now, the last thing I'll say is we have also the Los Angeles County Commission for Older Adults. This commission represents the concerns, interests of older adults, and they discuss, they provide input in the planning process, in the service delivery process, and they work with us. They meet once a month. They participate in various committee meetings, and basically they are the advocates and advisors. So they also work with the board offices. They have meetings once a quarter, provide feedback, and receive guidance. You may ask, how would the public know of all these services? Any person who hosts that would be connected with AI agencies on aging. And for your information, this same number connects to 33 AI agencies on aging in the state. So it's set up in such a way that based on where you're calling from, it will route you to your local AI agency on aging. I think with that, that is my presentation. The next presentation is about adult protective services, and the speaker will be Sylvia.
My name is Sylvia Valdivia, Human Services Administrator 2 with Adult Protective Services Line Operations Division. Thank you very much for coming to this presentation. Adult Protective Services is a state-mandated program in charge of investigating all reports alleging abuse, neglect, and exploitation against elders 65 and over and dependent adults between the ages of 18 to 64 who reside in Los Angeles County and who are reported to be victims of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. The current APS budget is $36.64 million, and it has three main funding streams: state, federal, and county, without any endangered elder or dependent adult is eligible to get APS services, regardless of their income or immigration status. APS Line Operations Division is comprised of a daytime operations. We have field offices that operate during the day. We also have an after-hour programs with units that work at night. They start at 4 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. We also have a standby program with social workers and supervisors on a standby to handle emergency reports that come on the weekends and during holidays. In addition, APS Line Operations Division oversees a 24/7 operations. We have 20 field offices throughout LA County, 3 after-hour units. We have 142 great social workers. We have 23 great social services supervisors. And with that, we handle between 4,000 to 4,500 reports of abuse monthly. All applicable laws and regulations that guide our operations come from the Federal Social Security Act, Title 19, from the California Welfare and Institution Code Section 15600 to 1576, from the Department of Social Services Regulations or county letters and directives. California Penal Code Section 368B is very important for our operations because it allows the district attorney to prosecute elder abuse as misdemeanor or felony, depending on the situation. Who must report elder abuse or dependent adult abuse? Everyone should be reporting when you witness situations of elder abuse. And you can do it anonymously. We never disclose the name of the reporter. However, the following people are required by law to report: care custodians, health practitioners, clergy members, APS employees, law enforcement agencies, financial institution employees, emergency response personnel, animal control officers, code enforcement officers, individual relatives or otherwise who have taken caregiver responsibilities. These are the types of abuse that APS social workers investigate. Physical, including sexual, psychological, mental abuse, neglect, including self-neglect, financial isolation, abandonment, abduction. So, what APS social workers do? First of all, they go where the client is. Sometimes the client is reported to be at home, at hospitals, at friend's house, at skilled nursing facilities. Sometimes they are on the streets because they are homeless. And they go to do a face-to-face interview with them to address the allegation reported, to gather information they need to investigate the case, to get them statements, to hear what they have to say. They also contact family, relatives, friends, any collaterals, any witness of the alleged abuse. Then they assess the major risk factors, such as the functional abilities of the alleged victim. Are they able to do the activities of daily living? Can they bathe, dress, feed? Can they do the independent activities of daily living? Can they take transportation, do grocery shopping? Can they cook for themselves? They also assess the cognitive functioning. They pay attention to memory. Are there declines in the long-term memory, short-term memory? Can they understand their situation? Can they resolve problems? They also assess to identify possible depression, anxiety, phobias, mental illnesses. They also assess environmental factors of the house. Is the house clean, cluttered? Are there signs of hoarding behavior? Do they have basic utilities? They also find out if they have medical care, Medicare, HMO. When is the last time they have seen a doctor? They also check if they have a support system and who handles their finances. Do they have power of attorney? Then they develop a service plan that includes strategies and interventions directed to resolve the client, the alleged victim's problems. Here is with ABS social workers who refer us to several community agencies trying to get services that a client needs. Also, when the client confirms allegations of abuse by others, ABS social workers cross-report the case to law enforcement for further investigation. Finally, when all the allegations are reported and fully addressed, when the major risk factors have been eliminated or reduced, they close the case. These are some of the services that ABS social workers provide. When they encounter clients trying to hurt themselves or others, they immediately contact the county psychiatric evaluation team. They are the ones that tell us if the person meets the criteria for an involuntary hold, so they can be transported to hospitals for further psychiatric and medical evaluation. We also connect them with the nearest mental health clinic so they can get adequate services. We also provide in situations of emergency food vouchers to them, especially when they are running out of funds. We also place them in emergency shelters when they could no longer remain at home safely, of course with their agreement. And also we provide taxi services to transport them from home to these shelters or when they have emergency doctor's appointments. When they are facing evictions, we connect them with legal services such as WDACS, legal aid. We initiate referrals for in-home supportive services. We connect them with home delivered meals. We work closely with every agency trying to get services that the client may benefit with. It's important to clarify what APS social workers cannot do. APS social workers cannot write involuntary holds, cannot secure psychiatric holds, cannot provide protective custody services. They cannot force the client to accept medical treatment or to take medication. They cannot force them to leave their homes or clean their homes. They cannot force them to get admitted to hospitals, hire or fire caregivers. Every year on June 15, we raise awareness about elder abuse. Our agency, WDACS, and other community agencies have different activities. So I would like to invite you to access the department's web page on June 15, and you will get a listing of the activities. Also, I would like to ask you to wear something purple on June 15, and also expose our purple wristbands. With that, you are giving the message to others to stop this type of abuse, elder abuse, that causes unnecessary pain and suffering to the older population. Finally, these are our contact information, telephone, our 24 hours, 7 days a week telephone, and online address. Thank you very much, and now I'm going to introduce you to Patrick Aniawoki, Human Service Administrator 2, with Adult Protective Services Program on Planning Beach. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Good morning, and thank you for coming again. Many of you were here last year. I had a very good opportunity of meeting some of you last year. I'd like to see you again. My name is Patrick Aniawoki, and I'm one of the Hall of Friends and the programs that we have on that APS program of Planning Division. APS has two divisions, the Line Operations Division that was covered by Sylvia, and I'll be covering the Program of Planning Division. Under the program of planning division, we have all of these programs. I'm going to focus mainly on the ones that will benefit you and the constituents that you represent. So I will go into details in some of the programs that you really need to get back to your constituents. We have a policy development section that handles all of our policy. As a mandate program, it is a mandate program. We are required to comply with laws and regulations and statutes and codes. So this section basically tracks all of that. They also develop our internal policies and procedures, and they also develop new programs for APS. They also work on the MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding, which we have with a lot of county departments. We also have Aging and Adult Services Call Center. I'll go into details. We have APS partnership with contracts, MOUs and MDTs. We have GAR, Governmental Inquiry Response Team. I think that will be of interest to all of you. Residential Placement Protocol Task Force, Transportation Services, Family Caregiver Support Outreach, bringing our loved ones home. So Cynthia already talked about that, but I'll still give you some more details on that. Talk about the policies and MOUs and the policies section that handles all of that. Sure, please. These are some of our service partners, our major service partners, including the Department of Public Social Services, the Department of Consumer Business Affairs, District Attorney's Office, the Health Services, Mental Health, Public Guidance, Genesis, and then we also have our MDTs, the Forensic Center, and other local MDTs, including law enforcement, of course, the Department of Mental Health, the Genesis program, and the DS office. So we also have transportation service, temporary shelter program. We provide shelter services to our county, and for all APS clients that do need shelter for their safety. And we also have contract with shelter facilities throughout the county. So we place our clients basically based on their needs. The idea is to move them away from the endangered environment to where they can be safe. And most of these shelters basically accept our clients based on the level of services and care or supervision that they can provide for our clients. We also have transportation services, as you know. Many of our APS clients do need transportation services for their, to keep their doctor's appointment, to do their groceries and to, go out for other social engagements. So we do provide transportation services for them. We have the Youth Freedom Transportation Program, and under that we have the Volunteer Driver Mileage Program. This program basically gives our clients the flexibility to select or to recruit their own driver for their own transportation needs. What that means is that we basically allocate about 200 mileage per client a month for them to use for their transportation needs, and then that mileage is reimbursed at the rate of 34 cents per mile. So this is some of the special programs that we have. The Governmental Inquiry Unit, a lot of you probably know about this program because we have received referrals or inquiries from a lot of the board districts and from the congressional districts as well. So basically we handle all inquiries and referrals coming from governmental agencies. That includes the Board of Supervisors, the federal government, state, the county departments, and city departments. So if you have any inquiries or any referrals, you can either contact me directly, and I believe there is a contact number and the resource guide that you have. We'll do our best to handle these inquiries as quickly as possible and to respond back to you in a very timely manner. We also have the Residential Placement Protocol. The Residential Placement Protocol was established back in 2003. It is a task force that was formed to basically monitor the licensed and unlicensed facilities throughout LA County. At a time, we were having so many facility closures, and residents were basically being displaced, and there was no adequate arrangement to transfer them or transition them to other type of housing. So because of that, a task force was put in place so that we can minimize the incidents of abuse of adults and dependent adults that utilize these facilities. We also investigate violations, related to licensing and unlicensed facilities. We have a special unit that basically responds to every facility closure in LA County, and what happens when we get information that a facility is about to be closed. Social workers will roll out and they will make sure that the folks that are being displaced are basically placed in another place or transition to other housing options. We also have a repatriate assistance program. This is a special program that we provide to U.S. citizens who are returning from overseas as a result of illness or death. I hate to call it deportation, but when they do come back, we provide resettlement assistance for them. I think it's about $750 that we provide as a one-time resettlement fund that we provide to them. And if they have need for housing or medical needs, we will provide this kind of services for them as well. So Cindy already talked about Ebola. Just to give you an idea of how serious this issue is, in 2016, we learned that there were about 28,000 people that were reported missing in LA County, and that number alone represented about 22% of all the people that were reported missing in the state of California. So what are we trying to do here? This is a forward-thinking process in terms of what we can do to ensure that folks who are vulnerable and who have some of these conditions that puts them in a vulnerable condition to go missing, that we can prevent them from missing. So the task force that was put together comprised of more than 13 or 14 county departments and other stakeholders. And so they came up with 17 strategies. Those 17 strategies to be implemented within the next 3 years. So the plan for WDACS is basically to set up a special unit in WDACS that will handle all the inquiries relating to Ebola, related to bringing our loved ones home. So the idea basically is what do we do to prevent folks from going missing? And when folks go missing, what do we do to make sure that we locate them in a very short amount of time? And there are folks who may have been reported missing, and some of them are currently in those residential care facilities. They are reported missing, but we're not able to identify them because they basically have unknown ID. So they may have been found, but they're in this facility and we need to find them and to identify them. I know that telling me that my time is up, but that's how much we have on Ebola. You'll be hearing more about Ebola program. We're going to go live by August 1st, and a lot of that information is going to be coming out. CPS is mounting a serious campaign that will include developing a website, brochures, and pamphlets that we send out to folks. And we're also doing outreach events throughout the community to educate people about this particular program. Thank you so much. That's all that I have for you. We're going to take a 10 minutes break from now. It's about 11:10, so we should be back at 11:20. We do have refreshments out there. Please help yourself out. And if you're wondering where the restrooms are down the hallway to your right, very close to the elevators. Thank you so much.
My name is Robert Sowell. I'm Program Manager with the Human Relations Branch here in the department. You have our contact information on the second page of your resource guide. Our phone numbers are there. Our email addresses, for the most part, are the first initial and last name at wdacs.lacounty.gov. So before we leave, you want to make sure you get that information from us, but most of us have that format to our email address. I'm going to be talking to you about the Human Relations Branch and basically 3 particular things that I'll be focused on. One is the Commission on Human Relations, one is the County's Dispute Resolution Program, and one is the Native American, LA City and County Native American Indian Commission. The materials in your resource guide are in section 6 that relate to these 3 items. The need for this has to do with the place where we live. It is a magnificent mosaic of many different places and experiences. We have all different kinds of ethnicities, cultures and subcultures, different language groups, economic classes, sexual orientations, religions, lifestyles, abilities, generations. It's just a magnificent diversity that's here. LA County is home to this nation's largest populations of Mexicans, Salvadorans, and Guatemalans. It's also home to the largest populations in the nation of urban American Indians, Armenians, Iranians, Chinese, Koreans, Vietnamese, people from South Asia, and is the 2nd largest Jewish population in the country, right here in LA County. A majority of LA County residents speak a language other than English at home. That's a surprise to some people. They know their own home, but they don't know that that's true of many homes around the county. But a majority of LA County residents indicate that they speak a language other than English at home. So intergroup tension and conflict would not be surprising in a county with such diverse residents, but that's not new. In fact, as you think about the Commission on Human Relations, recognizing the origins talks to us a little bit about how long we've been dealing with this. 75 years ago this week, there were some events that came to be labeled later as the Zoot Suit riots, and during which hundreds of predominantly white young men in the military clashed violently with local young men of color for 3 days in the streets of LA. In response to that, in January of 1944, the Board of Supervisors formed what they called at that time the Joint Committee on Human Relations, the Joint Committee on Interracial Progress, which became the Joint Committee on Human Relations a year later. Then in 1958, it was formed as a commission, as an agency of the county, and is one of the oldest and largest human relations commissions in the United States. The Commission on Human Relations is the county's social justice advocate. That doesn't mean that we're the only ones in the county that care about social justice, not nearly. Because all the folks across the county are seeking to work hard to ensure that what they do is fair and equitable. It's just that fairness and equity is what we do. That is our assignment. The commission is made up of 3 commissioners appointed by each of the county supervisors. They have the opportunity to do that. And we are given the assignment to set strategic priorities and goals, to advise the Board of Supervisors on these issues. The Commission meets monthly with the mission of promoting better human relations by transforming prejudice into acceptance, inequity into justice, and hostility into peace. Supporting that work of the Commission are about 20 staff members. We execute the Commission's program work in these various ways. With consultation, we help to assist different situations of inequity and intergroup tension and conflict, to identify what the core issues are and potential solutions. With assessment, we help to gather and verify and disseminate accurate information about equity and hostility in the county. With advocacy, we are representing interests and rights of individuals and groups who very often are overlooked or actually specifically excluded. We do lots of different kinds of training to teach knowledge and skills to promote positive interpersonal and intergroup relations. We work with groups of all kinds to bring stakeholders together in coalition building so that they can address common concerns, build trust, and create peace. We work on project design with community partners to collaborate in advising customized solutions to different situations to produce sustainable change. And we have publications that relate to the issues that we're involved with. We currently have 4 strategic priorities for our program work. They include promoting youth human relations leadership, increasing the fairness and equity of criminal justice systems in the county, strengthening hate crime prevention and response, and improving our own agency's effectiveness. We've been working a long time in promoting human relations leadership. In order to transform prejudice into acceptance, we've got to work on it for a while because it's deep in us and well established. And so we do a lot of that work with youth. We equip and engage them as social justice leaders in their schools and communities. That includes working on campuses and with youth-serving organizations to help the staff know how to equip and engage those youth. We do that in schools and in organizations around the county. We have a human relations coalition that allows us to network with selected youth in a more intense way as they lead in their regions. And the Women's Leadership Project is also a very important part of the work that we're doing here all across the county. As I mentioned, one of the other priorities is increasing equity in LA County's criminal justice systems. To transform inequity into justice, we work to reduce the barriers of racial discrimination and other inequities in the criminal justice system, to try to interrupt the cycle of incarceration, to interrupt the school-to-prison pipeline, to interrupt the intergenerational cycle of incarceration. One of the ways that we were involved with that just a few years ago was a special effort to look at how the county was dealing with commercially sexually exploited minors. We worked with grad students that were funded by the Weingart Foundation from UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs. We engaged with them to work with county partners all across the county to change. And today, the way sexually exploited minors are dealt with by the criminal justice system is very different than it was. And we were not the only ones involved in that, but we were heavily involved in that effort to make those changes. We worked with the Sheriff's Department, we worked with the Juvenile Court, and actively engaged with LAUSD to change how they were paying attention to young girls and boys who were the targets for sex trafficking. In addition, in this work, we also have provided training with the County Probation Department. We're active members of the Countywide Criminal Justice Coordination Committee that's working on bringing that work across the county. And we assess the policies and practices of the 46 law enforcement jurisdictions in the county. So we think about the Sheriff's Department, people think about LAPD, but there are actually 46 different law enforcement jurisdictions, not including the California Highway Patrol, which is very actively involved here as well. And so we have a policing and human relations project that grew out of the 50th anniversary of the 1965 Watts Rebellion and the 25th anniversary of the Rodney King Uprising. And we've been holding public hearings in communities around the county. We have one coming up in September to hear from law enforcement providers that will produce recommendations for changes in policy and practice that will be shared with the Board of Supervisors, and then we'll work with partners to implement those changes. To transform hostility into peace, we work to strengthen hate crime prevention and response. We, since 1981, have produced the annual report of hate crime in LA County. This is a chart on the screen, and you have a small version of it there in your book that shows hate crime since 1996 through 2016. The thing that I would like you to see is the tallest bar. It's about the sixth one from the left, was in 2001. That's largely due to what happened in the aftermath of 9/11. In 2016, the number of reported hate crimes were 482. That is up from about 4 years ago. You'll notice, if you go to the far right and come back about 4 bars, that was in 2013. And so we've begun to see a rise again. It had been trending down up until 2016. We expect to have the 2017 report out probably in September. There are, as you would imagine, difficulties related to underreporting, and I'll tell you a little bit about what we're trying to do about that. But also, you may have noticed that just on the 31st of May, there was a report released by the California State Auditor where they did a sample audit and found pretty substantial inadequate reporting and enforcement of hate crime laws by law enforcement in California. So this is a map from 2016 of where hate crimes occurred. We sponsor and work with a group that we created called the Network Against Hate Crime that meets quarterly and includes law enforcement and community partners. In that work, we sponsor and support the work of a hate violence prevention partnership to support victims of hate crime. That partnership includes Bienestar, Brotherhood Crusade, Carecen, California Conference for Equality and Justice, the Muslim Public Affairs Council, and the Sikh American Legal Defense and Education Fund. We also are active members and supporters of the Transgender Service Providers Network in the county, and the work that we do with the Dispute Resolution Program helps with this, which I'll mention in just a second. You might remember that the county supervisors in August of 2016 and then again in April of 2017 passed motions related to LA County becoming a model for equity. We're heavily involved in that work across the county. We were very involved in the design of the County Department of Human Resources online training for all county employees in implicit bias and cultural competence. We also work to customize training for those issues for specific departments and divisions. We're working with the Department of Public Health in a trauma prevention initiative where they've identified 4 neighborhoods with inordinately high levels of trauma, and we're involved there, including in one area where we're investing resources for a community-wide community building and hate dissolving campaign, piloting there what we hope, if we can get the resources necessary, could go county-wide. As I mentioned, we're also involved in the county's dispute resolution program. 1986, the state passed a law that made it possible for counties to use a small amount of the money that's spent when you file the first paper in a civil action in court. Currently in California, that, depending on the level of what the case is and how much money it involves, that fee might range from $225 to $435. $8 of that gets set aside, and each month is sent and used in different counties. Here in LA County, that work is managed through our office. We contract with 11 agencies to make mediation services available by trained mediators to anyone who lives, works, or operates in LA County, with the intention being that before they go to court and well before they go to blows, that somebody would be there to assist them to resolve that in a mutually satisfactory way. There are 3 ways that that's done. One with community mediation, which could be disputes that are landlord-tenant or merchant-customer, debt disputes, family member to family member. A second is day of hearing. If someone has filed a civil suit, but even on the day of hearing at the courthouse, they want to try to mediate at least a part of the dispute before the hearing, we have mediators that are there in the courthouses. And then also victim offender, according to restorative justice principles, there are victim offender mediations that are provided as well. I also mentioned that out of our branch, we work with the LA City and County Native American Indian Commission. This was created in 1993. It's made up of 5 members that are appointed by the Board of Supervisors, 5 by the Mayor of Los Angeles, and then 5 that are elected in countywide elections. And they provide support and with a wide range of issues and activities for the more than 200,000 people in LA County of Native American Indian ancestry. So the activities include intergovernmental legislation advocacy, community education, lobbying for federal funding for services, and we do contracting to provide services for intake and referral, emergency food, emergency shelter housing, employment assistance, education and youth services for the population that's here in LA County. There is a great need for additional funding to support that. So, to end, then I would say this is where we're headed. This is what we're looking for. This is the Chinese word for peace. As you know, the language of Chinese, the written language of Chinese includes characters, not letters. And the Chinese word for peace includes 2 characters. One means balance, and the other means harmony, both of which are inherently about diversity. You don't need the balance if there's no difference. And harmony is the integration of difference in a beautiful way, visually, vocally, in whatever way it comes out. So balanced harmony is what we're after. So we envision a county where fundamental human rights are being met for everyone in all groups. We envision a county where all people and groups enjoy an equal opportunity to realize our full potential. We envision a county where it's the norm to value and draw upon cultural diversity to enrich our lives. We envision a county where using universally taught and practiced effective conflict resolution skills, we enjoy cooperation and collaboration as a regular experience. And we envision a county where our county government leads and models the highest levels of respect for civil liberties, human rights, and the intrinsic dignity of every human being. Some people might think that is a star too far for prudent endeavor. But we believe that no less is needed or worthy of our highest endeavor. Thank you for giving us a few minutes, and I'm happy now to introduce to you Suzanne Manriquez with the Community and Civic Survey.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be with you here today. Again, as Robert noted, I'm Suzanne Rodriguez, and I believe I was chosen to provide the presentation on the community and senior centers because I once sat where you sat. I worked for over 20 years, giving away my age here, for state assembly members and a county supervisor. So I know the demands and challenges that you face and that your jobs are pretty much 24/7, that you're always on call. We have 14 senior community centers in the county of Los Angeles. And 5 of them are senior centers and the others are community centers, but we serve all ages at most of the centers. No one is turned away. Generally, seniors go to the senior centers, but we do have to do some intergenerational programming from time to time at those centers as well. Our range of services includes everything from pantry, food services, senior lunch, computer lab, information and referral, recreational and socialization programming. It all depends on the needs of the particular neighborhood that is served by each of our centers. We have regular formal and informal advisory groups that have input on what is it that they need and what can we improve, what additional services can we provide. We have very small staffs in each of these centers, but we are lucky that we have both our departmental resources as well as an army of volunteers to draw on to provide these services. And the volunteers are trained Tai Chi teachers, computer lab teachers. We collaborate with a number of agencies that I'll get into in a minute. Last year we served 122,000 people at our 14 centers. And that's not just a number we pull out of a hat. When our participants come into our centers, they swipe a card and indicate on a touch screen which activities they're going to participate in each day. So we're able to track pretty well and pretty closely everything from the daily activities to the special workshops and other activities at each of our centers. And this year we're on track to actually exceed that number again. One of the things we do is we partner with our local resources, including your offices. Our county supervisors generously sponsor our field trip buses. They help us get Hollywood Bowl tickets. The congressional offices are great about being supportive of some of our federal issues that we need to refer folks to. The state offices, the DMV issues. And very special things too. They hold their town halls at our centers. They hold community forums, leadership training, and you're always welcome if there's one in your district or nearby to contact us and see if you would like to have something at one of our centers. Now I'm going to note, because Donna happens to be here, but I was going to note it anyway, that because we have limited resources, we do everything like you see here, field trips, the games, back to school giveaways, we have a toy loan program. But we also need to partner with others to do special events like our big toy giveaway. We get local business sponsors, and some of your offices help us with health fairs, resource fairs. But additionally, there are some times that there's a need that we don't have a volunteer for, a particular expertise in, and I'll give you an example. Senator Scott Wilk's office, and that's Donna works for Senator Scott Wilk, and he's come to our center, he's visited, but he also sponsored a unclaimed resources workshop. Sounds kind of boring, unclaimed resources, tell you that you might have some unclaimed resources in the state, but no, they did it in a game format where people they could look up your name and come on up, and you have unclaimed resources. It's a great program if you haven't accessed it. I found I had $800 in unclaimed resources at one point. So in any case, they made it very fun. The seniors loved it, and we're very excited. And so we partner with your offices as well for some of these things. We also serve as polling places. And as you see here, we're always trying to find unique ways to be creative with everything from art classes to our events that comes to our senior centers on, some of them, not all of them, on a monthly basis to provide legal services. Well, sometimes it's very difficult because of distance and for them to come on a regular time basis. So we have a pilot program where it's being done via Skype, and we're able to do that, so take advantage of modern technology. And I should note before I continue that our seniors, when I first joined the department, I was thinking seniors were, as Cynthia was saying, somebody that came and wanted to play bingo and knit. However, that's not really the case. Being a senior myself. Seniors in our centers are age 50 and up. So we get a range of folks that come in. They come and use our physical fitness facilities to work out. They do strength training classes, Tai Chi. They're probably in better shape than I am because they come to dance, and they do Zumba. So it is a range of services, and I've learned that seniors are purposefully aging as a result of the times, as well as some of the services that not just our centers, but as our other units in our department provide services beyond just the scope of our centers. So it's been a pleasure to be able to be part of that. Where seniors, I'll tell you that the seniors that I have spoken to in our centers tell me things like, my kids are grown up and gone, they don't really want to listen to me, they try, they're polite, but it's great. This gives me a reason to get up and get dressed in the morning. I come in here, I socialize with my peers, they care about what I'm talking about, they care about me, and I know that I can eat lunch at home, but I get a nutritious lunch here, and then I can also go do the exercise, dance, computer lab training. We do it in English and Spanish at some of our centers, the computer lab training, and have some really great talent that has come both from our volunteer pool as well as from our local adult ed and colleges. So we do rely a lot on collaboration, and encourage you to refer folks to our centers. I'll be showing you a list in a minute for resources, and just sometimes it's a place where they come for a first, how do I get this, how do I get help with this, and then they come on a regular basis. So, okay, a really great program offered by our department at our centers is this Aging Mastery Program that Cynthia mentioned. And what it is it enables them to become more aware of how they are empowered to access everything from wellness to financial management to estate planning. And we do that. We have workshops at most of our centers on these kinds of topics, but they're individual workshops. The Aging Mastery Program was a 10-week program. And at first I thought, oh, you're not going to commit 10 weeks. They got to come in, and for 10 weeks and come to these classes. They loved it, and they felt very empowered. They signed up initially. I thought we were going to have this huge drop-off after the first class where they thought, oh, they'll get something. But no, they stuck with it for the 10 weeks. And the folks that didn't sign up said, when they heard the buzz about it, said, I wish I had signed up. And so they're looking forward to taking the next classes that come up. And again, folks are age 50 to I think the oldest one of my centers is 102. So, and you'd be surprised how active they are. Their favorite activity is the dances. They can dance for hours. So, anyway, it's been very rewarding. It's been an educational experience for me to learn that seniors can be empowered, want to be empowered, and they're not ready to sit home and dead. We also serve, as I mentioned, other ages. At our Santa Clarita Center, we have this excellent math tutoring program. We were approached by someone in the community who is a professional to teach our third graders in an after-school math tutoring program. It's why I've learned that third grade is a pivotal year for young people learning math skills, and she's been wonderful, and her parents love her, and she's been very, very successful. She's engaged them. We do have a computer lab there. We have a children's computer lab that they can use as well at that particular center. And we also we go beyond and work with our local congressional reps and state reps on a variety of issues, like we're having a passport workshop. We have had in several of our centers. We also have citizenship workshops to assist our residents. So a lot of it depends on the needs of that particular area. Again, I've been surprised by the level of folks that come in, their energy levels and their interests. The field trips they particularly like at all of our centers. We took some children. It was our ESL class and our Young Mothers Zumba class to Grant Park for the Rangers program, where they learned ecology and conservation types of programming. And loved it. It was the first time we went on a bus. They could drive there, and it was the first time we'd been to Grant Park. And we were really excited about being in downtown LA. And so we plan, we do that on a regular basis with our seniors. We're trying to plan more family trips where some of the families can get to the beach or other places they might not otherwise get to. Again, it's a range of folks, it's a range of ages. We have retirees who were longtime blue-collar workers or worked for Lockheed, as well as folks from the Jet Propulsion Lab and Caltech, and they all are great about offering their expertise and being involved in our centers, and it's been a very helpful dialogue for us. So these are the list of the centers, and you can go online to our website. I put it at the bottom of this, which is WDACS.lacounty.gov, and it'll show you what the activities are at each of the centers. So I really thank you for your time, and I feel really privileged to work for this department. I really enjoyed my work with the elected officials, but I wish I had known more about the services at the centers when I was working there. Would have taken advantage of it a little bit more, but now we are really good. We encourage our staffs to get to know the elected official staff so that they can make appropriate referrals to your offices and also know what to do when your offices refer folks to us. And we're always happy to be the starting point for folks.
Our workforce development system is primarily operated out of a network of job centers that are branded as LA County America's Job Centers of California. So just a little bit of background on the size and scope of our workforce development area. We are the 4th largest workforce development area in the nation. Of course, the 1st largest is New York City, followed by LA City. And then due to the combination of the city of Chicago and Cook County, they kind of bumped us from the 3rd largest to the 4th largest. But that is just our workforce development area in terms of what we're coined as under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA. I do have to say that when you take into account all the different programs and services from other various funding sources, that we actually bump all of them out, and we are the #1 workforce services delivery area in the nation. So, but there are other workforce development areas that do cover the county. We share with 6 others, including LA City, Pacific Gateway, who covers Long Beach, South Bay, who covers some of the South Bay area cities, Celico, who covers the southeast LA cities, Foothill, and Verdugo. So in all, we cover 50 of all of the 88 incorporated cities and all 160 unincorporated areas in greater Los Angeles County. So just to give you an idea of kind of what that looks like visually, if you see in the light blue, that is us, that's LA County. And if you can see like in the yellow, that's LA City, and then some of the other workforce development areas. So our vision for our workforce development system really incorporates 5 different areas to make our workforce programs work for the constituents of LA County. Premier among that is regional coordination and planning. With the variety of partners that that bring in funding and other types of social services to our LA County America's Job Centers of California, it requires that we coordinate and plan with these different entities. It also entails cross-system data capacity and data-driven decision-making to ensure that these workforce development services are delivered as needed to our constituents. We believe in streamlining our workforce programs. We don't want to duplicate, we want to enhance across our partners. And we also believe in an employer business-centric model. So the other side of who we serve are the businesses and employers of LA County. And it's important that they are an equal partner in who we serve, because if the employers aren't on board, businesses don't have jobs to provide our job seekers and constituents, then the equation doesn't really work without that piece. And of course, grading resources. We want to ensure that we leverage as much as possible so that we can expand services and service delivery to everybody in LA County. Some of our service strategies and objectives. This is the types of services that we provide across all of our workforce programs. Number one is personal enrichment, where we focus on soft skills development. This is key, especially to job seekers who may have been out of the workforce for quite some time. For example, our justice-involved individuals that are coming out of various justice systems, youth who may not have been exposed to the world of work. So, it gives them an opportunity to learn what's expected on the job. Of course, work experience for those same individuals who may not have experience under their belt. So we provide subsidized work experiences such as paid internships. We also do paid on-the-job training, etc. Barrier mitigation is also key. We see all walks of life, many of whom have several barriers that prevent them from entering into the world of work. So, for example, we serve homeless individuals. One of the key barriers that they have is housing, of course. Again, justice-involved individuals who may have other types of barriers, such as substance abuse, mental health. So, all of that barrier mitigation is done up front, so that we can clear the way for them to be able to get on a career pathway. And so I'm going to kind of move on so that we don't take up too much time. And I'm going to actually pass it along to Felipe, who's going to talk to you about our priority and target service populations.
Okay, so we service all LA County residents, but we do have priority and target service populations. Some of them are based on funding from other departments. So for example, we get funding from DPSS, DCFS, probation, and other county departments to service their population. So the homeless youth, we're currently, or not only homeless youth, but homeless participants, we're working and have established an automated referral system where homeless individuals are referred to our AJCCs and we can provide services to them. We have one of our AJCCs dedicated only for veteran services, so veterans can come in countywide and access services available to them specifically for them. Our low-income and public assistance program, that's part of our DPSS program, youth and participants that are under CalWorks, for example, can get priority into our program in order to complete some general type of work experience, work readiness program to align them to a career pathway. We also service foster youth. For those of you not familiar with AB 12 youth, those are the youth that can self-elect to continue to foster services once they reach the age of 18, to continue foster services up to the age of 21 in order to access those services. So as part of that, DCFS has given us some funding to service their youth. So those are priority populations. They automatically get into our programs and we provide services for them. We also, like Sharon said, we have justice-involved participants, both adult and youth, at the different programs, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Importantly, countywide, participants get their high school diploma, get their GED, but there still might be some kind of basic skills that they're lacking in, so we provide services to these individuals. And part of our national WIOA Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, these are the mandates that they've given us to serve these youth, not only get them a grade level increase or provide them with a high school diploma or GED, but also align them to employment and career pathways. LGBTQ population, we have different programs that help them feel comfortable in accessing our services and also gain those soft skills necessary to overcome some of the barriers and some of the issues that they face on a consistent basis. And in general, our disconnected youth are those youth that are 14 to 24 years of age who are lacking in or who are on the verge of dropping out of school, who are unemployed or otherwise not participating in any other type of training. And just a little quick stat, there's 1 out of 6 youth in LA County is considered disconnected youth. So just to quickly recap about our AJCCs, we currently have 13 of them, with 4 being affiliates. All that means is that the 13 comprehensive AJCCs have more partners housed in-house, but we still provide all the services and refer the youth to the appropriate partners so that they can take advantage of all the resources available to them. And our system now transferred to a full co-location of adult and youth, whereas before we had different agencies providing different services for the adult and youth. Now it's all located in-house, which facilitates information and also helps with marketing so that people know where we are and where to go when they're trying to increase their education or some type of training to get them to those higher paying wages jobs.
And so a little bit more about our partnerships and collaborations. We have many partners that are actually co-located at our comprehensive AJCCs. Each one of them has the State Employment Development Department co-located there, and they provide their workforce services and enhancement to ours. We also work hand in hand with adult education and literacy programs, many of whom are actually also co-located at many of our comprehensive AJCCs. Also, vocational rehab, state vocational rehab is co-located on a part-time basis at all of our comprehensive AJCCs. Vocational rehab provides workforce services to disabled individuals. And Second Chance Act programs, we have partnerships with various entities such as the probation department, who receive funding for Second Chance Act programs, and many of them are actually also co-located at some of our AJCCs. We'll kind of touch on that briefly later on. And of course, TANF, who's a mandated partner, we work with Department of Public Social Services on a daily basis, hand-in-hand with our sister department of ours. And of course, the Sheriff's Department, Child Support Services, and many other county departments where we collaborate on providing workforce services with. So we do have some core programming that we want to focus on very quickly. And those involve, these are our bread and butter programs. The Adult and Associated Worker Program, our Youth at Work Program, Rapid Response, and also our Title V Senior Community Services Employment Program. So again, do you want to take it away for the Youth at Work Program?
And just quickly, this is just an example of some of the eligibility requirements for our Youth at Work program. But in general, we want to get the message out there. We service all county youth, different programs that are available for the youth, so we can service them under one program. We might be able to refer them to other services, so we encourage you to let them know about our services. And there should be a link in the paperwork that's in your packets on how to get the youth to register. Our AJCCs contact them, and we follow up to make sure those youth are being served. But in general, we serve 14 to 24 years of age, and they need to have right to work documents in the U.S. So those are the documents required for the W-9 form, or the I-9 form, sorry. Okay, and this is a little cheat sheet for you if you ever want to know exactly what services are available under different levels of what we call for the Youth at Work service programs. We have those soft skills that we mentioned earlier, which is the personal enrichment training. And it's very important because these are the skills that help them with financial literacy, how to balance their checkbook, how to, or what to do with their money once they get it, what percentage they should save, what percentage they could allocate towards bill, that sort of thing. We have various exercises that we work on. But importantly, work ethics, life skills, career exploration, and recently goal setting was added there so that they know what goals they need to set in order to continue on the career pathway that they've chosen. And then under level 2, it's just the more intensive services, which is our WIOA services, where we provide more detailed, in-depth counseling, tutoring, some kind of training that they might need in order to continue and enroll into a training program under level 3. So these are now meant to be in any type of order. The youth can enroll in any level 1, level 2, level 3, and at the same time we always push for co-enrollment in the different types of level to have more services for the youth.
So our adult and dislocated worker program. So that program provides workforce services to all adults 18 or older. The difference between the adult part of the program and the dislocated worker part of the program is really just eligibility and the difference in the funding streams. So a dislocated worker gets the same services that our adults would. In the program, the only difference is that they have to have been terminated or laid off recently from their job. And the difference is just the tact that they take in assisting those individuals. So the type of services that they get can range from very basic services where, it's like resume workshops and job searching, independent job searching, to more individualized level of services where they sit with a career planner and they go over a full career plan, and it may entail various training services, for example, occupational skills training, or an educational plan if they need to receive a high school diploma or post-secondary education, and also supportive services. So there is funding set aside for individuals that have certain barriers to completing workforce services in our program. And so those types of services are, for example, transportation services, childcare, that sort of thing. So we also have a rapid response program. That program is geared towards individuals and businesses that have recently gone under or are about to go under. And so as the name implies, once we receive notice of this, we have to act within 24 hours to reach out to those businesses and individuals that are at risk of losing their job, to provide them quickly into our workforce services and our partners' workforce services, such as the State Employment Development Department's unemployment insurance benefits, that sort of thing. Our Title V program. So this is a recent addition to our workforce side. It is a subsidized training program for adults 55 and older. And they get job-related counseling, job training, and they have opportunities to work with our career planners at the America's Job Centers of California to get into unsubsidized permanent employment. And real quickly, we have a number of special initiatives. We could take all day long talking about them, but I think it's important to really point out the fact that we have more than just WIOA funding coming in for workforce development services. So for example, we have a jail-based job center that is set up at the Pitches Detention Center in Passaic, where we provide workforce development services while they're still incarcerated, and get them groomed and have all their documents and everything in place so that when they're released, they have everything in order to get connected to other social services programming or to continue on with our workforce development programming at one of the various America's Job Centers of California. We also have a wonderful co-location model with probation at 5 of our AJCCs. agencies, and that model is called INVEST. And that's where we have deputy probation officers co-located there to provide wraparound workforce development services with our workforce development service staff to assist adult probationers in getting them employment. We also have the LA RISE program, which is utilizing Measure H dollars to provide workforce services to homeless individuals and getting them connected first to social enterprises where they provide them with transitional jobs and, you know, that quick subsidized employment to get them back on their feet and get them connected to various resources. And there's also a variety of youth special initiatives. I don't know if we have enough time to go over all of them, but if you would like to quickly.
Really quickly, just want to talk about, under the probation funding that we made sure we're talking about, the JJCPA stands for Juvenile Justice Crime Prevention Act of 2003. So under this act, probation has allocated some funding for us to provide services to 3 of their populations. Those are the school-based probationers, youth at risk of being on probation, and then the youth currently in the camps and the halls. So we're currently providing our workforce services at the camps, at the halls. The youth are accumulating money. When they come out, they have some type of savings, and we align them to services outside so that we already can be there when they exit within 48 hours to be part of their exit strategy. And quickly, Performance Partnership Pilot, P3, that was an initiative by the White House in 2015. It's a new way of doing business, so where we had different organizations, community-based organizations, county departments, operating in silos. We're dropping down those silos, working collaboratively together for breaking of funding and for providing services. So what we're doing at the county currently is we have 3 LAUSD pupil attendant service counselors or PSAs. And those counselors give us access to those youth who are about to drop out, who are otherwise disengaged from school, and it gives us access to refer those youth to our AJCCs, and they're already there at our AJCCs, so the youth comes in and facilitation of services. So that's just one of the examples, but it's the new way of doing business in a collaborative manner.
All right, so we're going to hand it over to our colleague in business services, the other side of the workforce development house, Cesar Cortez.
So business services, as my colleagues mentioned, we receive WIOA funds, and that's what funds business services for our service area. And we have business services staff that are located at our AJCCs, that are American Job Centers that were mentioned previously. Some of the services that we offer employers are workshops. So for example, we may have an employer that wants more information on unemployment insurance or hiring laws and regulations. So at our AJCCs, we will host these type of workshops for business within the community. Another service we offer is talent management. We may have an employer who needs assistance with recruitment. For example, let's say they receive new equipment and they need to hire, and they need to train, right? So we will assist that business with hiring the talent they need. We will do specialized recruitment for them, as well as set up training as well. So if they need customized training, that's something we will also assist the business with as well. Skills development, again, we have an employer who needs to upskill their employees. They may say, again, we need new equipment, they need to learn new skills, so we'll assist them with that as well. Financial incentives. So also with employers, we can provide them with different type of programs, like such as subsidized employment or on-the-job training, where we will be part of the wage of the individual that they employ, so that they can actually learn the skills on the job, for example, or get that experience. Hopefully, it works out where they will hire them permanently, and so they can go up that career trajectory. Also, tax incentives. A lot of employers aren't aware that they are eligible to the WDACS credits, the work opportunity tax credits, if they hire specific individuals from the welfare system or from our system, right? So we will also offer them information on it and assist them with applying many times they offer version. So I know Sharon mentioned a little bit about rapid response, and the offer version is similar. Well, so you may have a business that may say, we may go under in the next 6 months because of personnel or various reasons. So we will go in and try to assist that business to see if we can circumvent some of those layoffs. Let's say they need, I don't know, they may need training again, or they may, because they don't have trained individuals, they may lose a contract, for example. So again, we will assess them with different, depending on their needs, we will go in and try to assess them like that as well. We also have access to labor market intelligence, where we can go in and also assist the business with that as well. They may say, what's going on within my industry? Can you let us know kind of what's the prevailing wage right now? We're losing staff because we're not competitive enough. So we will assist them with those type of topics to try to help them so they can retain their employees and also hire as well. So these are some of the services that we offer. The majority are at no cost. WDACS funds us, so obviously there's some programs like the subsidized employment where they will pay part of the wage, we pay part of the wage, where they're, obviously they have to pay out of their own pocket, but the majority of the programs that we offer are at no cost because WDACS funds us, and that's kind of the tool that we use to be able to pay for a lot of these services. So I know I went quickly in the interest of your time because it is about 12:15. So I'm going to bring up Kevin Anderson, who's the special assistant to our department director, Ms. Banks, to come up.
Thank you, Caesar, and thank you, everyone. Why don't we just give all of the presenters a round of applause. Thank them for spending time today and for their expertise in all of the many programs and services we offer. And also, of course, we want to thank you all for making time to be here. We hope this was of value to you. But now we want to just answer any questions you may have, and just if you need to leave, of course, you feel free to leave, but if you have a few more minutes to stay around, we'd love to address any of your questions.
We laid out a version of programs, and then we have another program that help businesses if they're going under and help employees. Is that available to any business, or is it small businesses?
Can you hear me? Yeah, so the service is open to any company, whether it's large, small, or intermediate. So it's effectively any business within LA County within our service area, we can assist them.
And also, I'd like to mention two things. One, if you all have events, resource fairs, things going on, constituent events, and you would like our info van present, you can contact me, and I'll make sure to get that request to the appropriate individuals. I believe there's contact information in your packets of information for key individuals with our department. In addition, we've provided a brief questionnaire for you to fill out in terms of your feedback on today's event, so we'd love for you to take a moment and fill that out so we can see how we can keep improving this in future years. Yes.
I can just speak on it.
Okay.
Sure. My question is for Sylvia. For the APS, one slide you talked about emergency shelter services.
Yes.
So once someone goes into the service, what is the process for getting them out of emergency shelter and finding them a more stable living space?
Thank you for the question. Yes, we have to assess, we have to see if the client is getting already some type of income. Is the person getting SSI, Social Security? So we coordinate with other agencies and retirement homes and skilled nursing facilities, depending on the situation. So we could extend up to a month so they can remain safely in our shelters. But normally, in most of the cases, they have at least SSI. So with that, they can go into a, just a private long-term care facility of their choice. Sometimes they like to select a place that they are familiar with. The doctor is around and they feel comfortable.
I have a question for you too, Sylvia. Sure. How many shelters do you have? And how are they different from the shelters like LASA and nonprofits?
Very good question. We have about 6 shelters in different areas. We have about 2 in the downtown Los Angeles area, We have one in Lancaster. We have another one in the Bay Area, Long Beach, that area. And they are different from the, let's say, large public shelters, like the Mission, right? LA Mission shelter, because they are smaller and we can work closely, the ABS social worker can work closely with the client towards a more permanent housing.
And this is just for seniors, right?
Yes, for adults 65 and older, or dependent adults between the ages of 18 to 64. Also, these shelters have certification and licensing. Some accept clients on a wheelchair, or they don't accept clients on a wheelchair. So we have to go by what they are licensed for. Thank you.
So my question is for Solomon, and it's related to the service delivery location slide. You mentioned that service is provided through contracted service providers, and I wanted to ask how you guys decide who your providers are, and if you could go into a little detail on who they are and how they're selected.
How the contracted service providers are selected. There is a competitive bidding process. RFP goes out. We have a contracts division with professional staff. The bidding and approval process is very rigorous to make sure that the Los Angeles County is covered well. And so they are selected based on experience, based on the statement of work that's followed to meet the needs of our clients in specific regions. For example, we take nutrition, the cultural competency, the type of food they deliver matters based on the specific locations and regions. So many things are considered in the selection process. But there is detailed requirements that are included in the RFP, and that's publicized, and we receive many proposals from there. Yes.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you again, everyone, so much for being here. Thank you.